The strangest electrified sports car yet.
Up, y'all, I'm back with another hybrid. And it's one of the weirdest hybrids I've ever tested in implementation. So when you think of hybrid, you probably think of the hybrids that are trying to get the best gas mileage possible. This is not one of those hybrids. This is one of those hybrids that's geared for improving performance. I talked about it in the Ferrari 296 review. There are hybrids coming out, lots of sports car hybrids on the horizon that mix electric and gas, the best of both worlds, to give you the best possible performance. And this is one of them. So this is the Corvette E-Ray, brand new, shiny blue paint color too. A whole bunch of cool things about this car I want to show you, but also just these weird quirks. And don't get me wrong, living with it is great. I've been living with it for a couple days now, and it's awesome, but it just has this weird implementation of the hybrid.
What a job. You get to use the latest vehicles for a short period of time and really find out the details about a vehicle so you can report on it or vlog about it. And that's pretty cool because you get to ride in the latest vehicles. And I'm almost certain that they're sending him these vehicles for free upon request. Can't be sure about that. But that's what it seems like. But that's pretty cool, ain't it? That's a nice job.
Hybrid system that I want to show you. So, all the things that we know and love about this new C8 platform are still true. Like, there's a bunch of other variants of the C8 Corvette. This still has all of that awesomeness. It's got the engine from the Stingray behind the driver. It's mid-engine. It's got the wide-body shape of the Z06. I reviewed the Z06 already if you want to learn a whole bunch more about this car, and I really enjoyed that thing. That one, much more track-focused, much more hardcore. It's just the naturally aspirated V8. This one, because it's electrified, it's aiming to be the most livable Corvette ever. And I think it succeeds with being the best dailyable Corvette they've ever made. So, E-Ray stuff is going to be this new
electric Corvette,
which I think with the blue paint looks really, really good, not going to lie. Still got that front trunk up there we all love. And then back here, you still got these huge vents. I want to go to the back. I mean, the only way you can really tell it's E-Ray is because of this badging down here. It says E-Ray. It's got that Stingray badge up top here, and this is how the back of the E-Ray looks. And then you're also going to have this wishbone shape here on the side of the car. If it is painted body color, that's how you know you're looking at an E-Ray on the street, unless the owners modified it. But also, I think that's such a good-looking silhouette. It's clear they were inspired by Ferrari. I mean, you get a lot of Ferrari vibes with this silhouette. But the first hint at what they're trying to do with this car is over here at the tires.
That joint is pretty.
21-inch in the back,
not gonna lie.
20-inch in the front, carbon ceramic brakes, but they are on Michelin all-season tires. And I feel like all-season tires, that's the biggest statement you can make shipping a car from the factory with all-season tires, which is, hey, we want you to drive this thing all year round.
Seasons,
this is the Northeast. It's barely over 50 degrees today. It's going to get down into the 30s. And you can drive this car in the winter. But then you already know about the practicality of this platform, this mid-engine with the front trunk, but also the rear trunk. So if you open this whole back section, there you go. You can fit, if you've got a normal-sized golf bag, you can fit a whole golf bag back here. And there's the engine.
Bro, the engine is right behind. I don't know if I like that. But then again, we're always driving with the engine right in front of us. I don't know if I like that either. So behind us, okay, but in front of us, I can see if that motherfucker starts smoking. If that motherfucker starts smoking, it's right in front of us. There's a good chance I'm gonna be able to tell. Behind us, I have to get another signal, like the smell. Can't see it. And we're going forward, so the smoke will be behind us. Yeah, let's let them work.
6.2 liter, I believe. So this V8 is putting out about 500 horsepower, and then you get an electric motor at the front, between the front wheels, that's kicking out another 160 horsepower, totaling about 650 horsepower, which is sick. That makes it the first
two motors.
Corvette with all-wheel drive. It makes it the quickest Corvette ever, about a 10.5 second quarter, 2.5 seconds 0 to 60, and it still sounds pretty good. If I sit in here and fire it up, you'll hear what I mean. This is one of the challenges of YouTube, is trying to get the sound to go through on camera, but doesn't even have a soft limit. That's crazy. So the design is great, the powertrain is rock solid, and the practicality is still here. All the things we like about this C8 platform are still here, but once you get into the specifics, the details of the hybrid system, that's when it starts to get weird, okay? So they built this platform with the idea of making a hybrid version in mind, so they left room up front between the front two wheels to put the electric motor, and right through the middle is a pretty small battery pack. But it's completely separate from the rear axle. Completely separate. So that means the front axle, and only the front axle, is powered by the battery and the electric motor, and the rear axle, and only the rear axle, is powered by the V8. So it's technically all-wheel drive, but that's going to mean you don't get quite the same list of benefits and behaviors as a hybrid that, say, has electric on both axles, or an all-wheel drive car from the gas engine by itself. So here's what I mean. So let me get in the car in the driver's seat here and get the best possible view. That square steering wheel, love it or hate it. So the battery pack is in here. You can start up the car as one of the primary benefits in what's called stealth mode. All you have to do is get in, close the door, and buckle up. Yes, you have to. And then you'll get this nice animation on the screens that are actually telling you can do this, which is starting up the car.
That's a nice feature, I think. You can't start the car unless you're buckled in. I think that's what he was trying to say. That's innovation. That's innovation right there. I like that. I kind of like that idea. It's a yes and a no for me. I would rather you can't put it in drive, or it won't drive unless you're buckled. But sometimes you want to get in the car and just listen to music. You just have to put on your seatbelt to listen to music now. That would mean that you can't start the car, park it, and just hang out, unbuckle. You want to just chat with your lady friend, or your ladies, or your counterpart. I could see some problems. Arising. So maybe not the perfect innovation, but I congratulate them for trying, for moving the bar. At least if it's a positive move, it has benefits and it has its drawbacks. Let's say that.
Are in stealth mode. As you can imagine, that's electric only. All you got to do is turn that knob to the right, and it's going to say, oh, you're looking to do a different mode than usual. Yeah, we got those. We have normal mode, shuttle mode, and stealth mode. Stealth mode starts up the car just using the electrical power. You hit start, and I'm going to put the window down so you can hear this. The car is now fully electric and drives like an electric car with this sound.
Wow.
It is truly super cool to be able to drive around a car like this completely silently. As you can imagine, the use case is you fire it up in the morning, you leave your garage totally silently, you don't wake up your spouse or the neighbors, and you leave the neighborhood silently. This can get 3 to 4 miles of electric on a full charge, and it'll go up to about 45 miles an hour, after which it will kick on the V8 behind you to fill in the extra torque that you've asked of it to go over 45 miles an hour. And then it does this whole spinning up sinking process. Again, because the front and rear axles are not talking to each other, it's got to figure out how fast you're going, fire up the engine, sync everything, get the RPMs matched, and then have everything turn on. It's really bizarre, and it works, but you can only do stealth mode from ignition. You cannot do stealth mode
while driving
in the middle of a drive or as you're coming back into your neighborhood at the end of the day, because again, it's separate. But then another sub quirk, if I can trademark
that's
that,
interesting.
a sub quirk of this car is stealth mode is not available under 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll put the Celsius conversion up there. At all. Like I'll bring the car home, it'll be a cold day, and I'll want to start it in stealth mode the next morning, and I'll try it, and it'll say stealth mode not available. But this is supposed to be a car that you can daily everywhere, and it has all seasons, implying in winter climates you can use it, but stealth mode won't work under 50. Kind of weird. So that's already the first quirk. You can't start stealth mode anytime while you're driving. It has to be as you start the car. But the second interesting thing about this car is there's actually a button down here that lets you start recharging the tiny built-in battery at any point. So let's say you're out driving, you've been using a bunch of battery, it's doing all the awesome stuff that it does performance-wise to fill in the torque gaps and make it a super fun drive, pulls you out of corners from that front axle off the line. It's awesome, it does all that. Now you have a lower battery, but you know you want to leave in stealth mode the next morning. You hit this button, it's called Charge Plus, and it'll opportunistically fill the battery back to 100% as quickly as possible. I think this is a great feature, and it's shocking how fast it charges the battery back up. Like if you were to guess, let's say you're at roughly 75 or 80%, which is where it likes to keep the battery, how long do you think it would take to charge as you're driving neighborhood speeds back up to 100% battery? 3 minutes?
Let's say 10 minutes.
Like 15 seconds. You can watch it on the screen
fill
up 1% at a time as you're driving, because it's such a small battery and it charges so quickly that you can really quickly get up to 100% battery. So that's interesting. It's such a small battery, but then, like I said, you can get it up to 100% and it will like to stay around 80% if you're not doing Charge Plus. So yeah, all this stuff, these quirks are really interesting, and I call them quirks because they're not quite advantages, but the fact that you can't use stealth mode as you're driving, you have to start it from a park, that's a quirk, right? The fact that you don't get all of the traction control benefits of an electric motor because it's not on the rear axle at all. Most of the power is still doing the normal V8 stuff from the rear axle. You do get some benefits, and as you drive this thing, you notice them. You really notice it pulling you forward a little more responsively in all sorts of scenarios where you would be waiting for the V8 to spool up. All of that is great, but yeah, it's got those quirks. So you put it all together, and what do you get? You get the E-Ray, which I don't even know if it will be the most popular Corvette in this C8 lineup, but I do think if you look at every single one in the lineup as far as which one people decide to daily drive every single day, it should be this one. This is the one that makes the most sense in the winter. It's got the all-season tires, it's got all-wheel drive, and it is still super quick and still sounds really, really good.
Sounds sexy. Yeah, sucker sounds sexy.
I do expect a couple more versions of this platform to come out with maybe even more power. But until then, this is the most friendly, most daily drivable.
That sucker is sexy,
and
I ain't gonna lie.
in my opinion, the most livable Corvette ever made, thanks to going kind of electric. So let me know, if you had to pick one of the C8 Corvettes to live with as your daily driver, despite the possible downsides, would you pick this one? I still think I would. Let me know though. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace. All right.
I'm not the best judge of this because it's first of all, I've never driven a Corvette, and I don't have the experience of driving Corvettes. So I've never driven all the different Corvettes, so I'm not the best specimen to say if this is the best Corvette or not. You know what I mean? I'm just watching, just like you guys. A lot of people haven't ever driven a Corvette. It's a specific type car, like a sports car. Speed is the main drive. It's not luxury, it's speed when you're driving a Corvette. It's also beautifully designed. That's a plus, but the main attraction is speed, in my opinion. Yeah, so kudos to Corvette for making a dual electric vehicle. That's innovation.